My question is on that, Gaurav, that how could we calculate this?
Right, and good question. And again, it is very relevant because I came from the industry, or I came from the company which is called Thermo Fisher Scientific, and our punchline is that to enable our customer to make this world cleaner, and safer. So one of the product range we do have as of now, that is called the AQMS, that is a air quality monitoring system. You go in any plant, you go in any kind of an pollution control board, or analyzers who analyze each and every kind of an gases, your emission and all this kind of a thing. So these are the analyzer which completely take your environment, ambient air, that analyze and that give the ultimate result how it is viable and how you are lagging in terms of the overall quality. And then it is also provide the solution, what kind of a solution you need to implement to move it to a sustainable level. So these are the parameters, or these are the some of the models which company can implement at their level so that they can also easily monitor, track,
Right.
and it can be monitored centrally and it can be monitored through a government websites. So these are the some of the solutions which are available, readily available in the markets.
Perfect, absolutely. But I think I come to audience also. We in the COVID period, we have well gone through with a word hotspot. So जहाँ पे I think we all aware about the Corona hotspot and the COVID hotspot locations. In the same thing, we can do it with the carbon emission also. We can find out the hotspot locations for the suppliers, like how many suppliers are there, and they have the hotspots locations for their carbon emissions. So I am adding to Gaurav only. So we can finalize and we can evaluate that hotspots, and then we can combine both market data and with hotspots, then combining each other on a same platform, and then we can work benefited to the companies and organizations as well as the environment, and for all of the noble causes which what we are seeing. So I'm coming to Biswas. I think Biswas, what we spoke on the same point for the today morning also, we have discussed some of the point that how environment, social and governance is coming together once platform, and how they will work to reduce the carbon emissions. So could you add some of the points on that same?
Yeah. So I think since morning we are talking about ESG and
Yes.
carbon footprint, rather many things had been discussed. So what is ESG and what it covers and all. So I'll not go into those details because ESG itself, it's a long topic, and there are many
Very vast
perimeters into
topic,
it,
yeah.
whether it is environmental aspects or social aspects, and whether it is related to your best practices on labor, minimum wages, health and safety and all. However, now specifically remaining on a topic related to type 3 emission and reduction. So again, you had mentioned about type 3, even Sanjay has added what is type 3 and the challenges, even defining a baseline for type 3 and then looking at how it can be reduced. So type 1, type 2 more or less is known for almost everyone, and the internally those measures are taken up by many of the industry. But type 3, again, it includes your primary, secondary transport, employee commutes, business travel, then even your suppliers and how they are managing their value chain. So first is identifying a baseline, and there are various methods. Again, organization needs to have that vision and decide a policy how they want to go about, what is rather which are the criterias or which are the parameters where they want to work, and accordingly they need to finalize that base. So once that baseline where they are as of now and where they want to go, once that is clear, then probably there could be certain actions which can be taken up. So one is, as you are talking about hotspot, so during that analysis, which are the hotspot, which are the low-hanging fruits or immediate possible actions wherein we can reduce those carbon footprints or carbon emission, those needs to be taken care. So few examples which many of the industries have started practicing, or even we have started working on those lines is, if I talk about employee commute, we were talking about Corona and effects after that. So one of the point which we have taken up is hybrid model of working.
Right.
So now most of the companies have started resuming their staff and work from home. Either they have mixed model or they are
The
working
hybrid model.
completely with office. But then looking at these particular point, because in our ESG policy, we have focused on employee commute and carbon emission generating out of that.
Right.
So we have focused on that particular point and we are working on hybrid model. So that is reducing employee commute. Second, we are focusing on carpooling model. Wherever possible, we are using that particular activity. Then we are encouraging our staff as well as workers at factory to go for EV vehicles. And even to motivate that, we are trying to implement EV chargers or install EV charger in our
Right.
factories and corporate offices where they can bring their vehicle, they can charge. Because today, even if we are talking about EV vehicles and all, infrastructure is not developed to that maturity. So we need to look at, if we are looking at these particular aspects, how these will be supported by the required infrastructure. So that is one. Then transport, primary and secondary. So we are analyzing data for these particular pointers and how this is contributing to the emission and how we can reduce. So few common actions are, you are moving from diesel vehicle to CNG, CNG to EV, and wherever possible last mile to your with the help of EV vehicles. And at the same time, we are looking at how our product is traveled. So from supplier to factories or from supplier to warehouse and from warehouse to sales. So one of the interesting case in reduction of travel time as well as carbon emission is, one of our product is getting manufactured in West. That is going to our Bhiwandi warehouse, and then from there it was delivering to a customer
Different
location.
location.
So while analyzing the data, we found that almost 70% of the sales is in South. So we started exploring whether we can have that particular product manufactured in South, and then from there it can be distributed to the South warehouses or say customers or projects in the South. And by doing that activity, we have reduced that complete travel from West to warehouse and from Bhiwandi to Chennai, and that help us to reduce certain carbon footprints or say those particular norm. Then we have started looking at our product design, because once you are outsourcing your product, so I think Sanjay was talking about again packaging. So entire packaging is coming from your suppliers.
Right, one thing.
So how you can work on that particular product design to reduce your packaging weight, reduce your packaging consumption, whether you can go for replacement of your single-use plastics. So those aspects we have started working along with the R&D so that we design that product or say those packaging aspects which will help to neutralize the carbon footprint. So these are certain actions which we are looking at to reduce type 3 carbon emission, and again we have developed a system to take care of these points. So there is an assessment model wherein we have, again someone was mentioning about EcoVadis and those software wherein you can capture at least the major spend and the current carbon footprint and how we can reduce on those numbers. So you are clearly aware of where you are and how you are reducing your carbon footprint.
Absolutely right. I think Biswas has added the major points, and the many organizations in India, I think top 10, we have Tata Steel has started with their carbon positive footprints, how they can become, and I think they have shown their interest by the 2021 only. So that carbon positive, how that is calculated, because we as an industrialist or we are working with the many industries like thermal power plant, steel industry. So we can't reduce the carbon emission, but what we can do, we can generate green. So we can create a green. If we are using electricity of the thermal power plant, then we can plant a solar plant in front of that, wind plant in there to reduce that. So that mitigation of carbon, and the carbon become the carbon positive. That is I think bank is also involved in this. HDFC is just giving maximum, because they have given the loans to the industry who are working for the steel, who are working for the thermal power plant. So Sanjay will also add that point rather in the next discussion point of view. Then he will add that how Adani is also the one of the companies who is providing who is just giving the 14 gigawatt of solar power project in the last 23rd this year. This year they have, and they are planning for the 25th. So next 10 gigawatt by the 2025. I think in the next 2 years what they are planning. So that is going on. So I am coming to Nitin. Nitin, I think Nitin has a 2-3 points who wants to add with us that one is the sustainability and how we can find the suppliers from our end, because we as a leader, procurement leader, we have to search our suppliers who are the carbon hotspots and who are the major CO2 hotspots into the industry. So please you give the points on that and how to reduce that.
Yeah, thanks for calling me. I represent the construction industry. Avinash and Dr. Sanjay are here. They are our suppliers from whom we get steel and cement, both to our company. I represent the construction sector. So what I have seen is over a period of decades now, we are talking about sustainability recently, right? But these companies, name a steel company or a manufacturer and the cement manufacturer, what Dr. Sanjay is representing, or even we, the construction industry, we were doing this or practicing sustainability or sustainability practices for a decade plus decade.
More than
I
decade,
would
yes.
say. But we as a procurement professionals or we as a learned or knowledgeable guys here sitting, we were not knowing about sustainability. For example, cement, like what Dr. Sanjay was telling us. तो हमने PPC कब से मंगाना किया, शुरू किया? We started procuring PPC because we were very much aware about the sustainability. We didn't order for OPC. They also helped us. These companies are helping us to go for sustainability. We are procuring PPC bags and even in the form of bulker as well. Even we stopped buying the red bricks, which earlier we all know that we were using. As a construction industry, we were using red bricks. Now we are using pre-aerated blocks. So, but क्या हुआ? We were not aware about this terminology called sustainability. Our ancestors, our generations, earlier generations were very much aware about this sustainability. We all guys are now talking more on sustainability because the impact is more as compared to a decade back. So the industry, every industry I would say, these guys sitting here on the board, they also